Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division in the Southern Pines 9-hole cup. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go. We're gonna start off by playing hole number 1 with a Kingmaker and the driver that gives us the most distance and topspin. Max topspin with a couple of bars of side spin to the left would be something I would like, even though I'm not using it now. Max distance with a 10% over adjustment, max overpower with a tiny bit of curl to the left, just help ourselves. If we do hit, great to the right. We're gonna get down there to the right as far as we possibly can. It is not completely necessary to just get it absolutely down there, but something that we do want at least to try to do is to get the ball like a little bit more to the right side of the fairway than to the left, because that is going to open up kind of an opportunity for an eagle. This is in Master with this type of win, super tough one to grab an eagle on. So I would say it's going to be 99.9% birdies on this one. If you make an eagle, consider yourself lucky, I would say, because the green here that it comes to is going to be very bumpy. We're going to have to bounce ourselves up there, hoping that the ball is going to roll as we want it to. 50% of the green, I would say, on the left side is sloping much down to the left. So you can see here using the Cataclysm level 7, and you can play with a sniper here as well, but I would prefer with a sniper that you play with a power 4 ball from the beginning. With a power 3 ball, I would say a Cataclysm here would be the better choice. We do need to aim a lot on the right side, especially if you're playing on the left side of the bunker, due to that the fairway slopes to the left, the green slopes to the left, and then we need to compensate for that by aiming more to the right. You can see me miss this shot to the left, so give yourself around 4 squares to the right side of the pin, and that's going to be the way you want to aim. You can see how the ball coming in, we bounced nicely here, but we're still coming in a little bit too much left here, of course. Now, like we're going 5% over adjustment on hole number 1. Hole number 2 here, I really like this hole. I think this one is going to definitely be a possibility to make a hole in one on. And for myself, I'm working with the reference that I'm using the blue ring by the rough on the left. I'm using either a Kingmaker ball or a Centurion ball. Both of them power 3. The only difference between it is that you do have more wind resistance on a Centurion ball. You will have to over adjust 10% on this one if you're using numbers directly like that. So, and before I take my first shot, check down in the video description down below for direct timestamps in this playthrough. Also, if you do want to get the text guides for the upcoming Easter Open tournament that starts already on Monday, the 15th of April, you do have the link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy in the video description down below. Our opponent coming in very short, I will have to say, and coming in short here is pretty, like what can say, it's easy to do with that, especially if we're using too much backspin. So, our turn, and we're gonna use a Kingmaker, using a quarterback as well. Max side spin going here with in the end 4 bars of backspin. And I'm using the blue ring in the plus 5 yard mark. I'm trying to get a good ball guideline here, but I'm down in the plus 5 yard mark. That's at least what I want to in the end. Then we do have the plus 5 yard mark. With the blue ring a little bit inside the rough there, but we do want to have the blue ring just by the rough, not inside the rough. And you're gonna see me coming in very, very close on this one here. And the adjustment I'm making here with the quarterback to make it easy for myself is that I played 11 rings. So for 11.2 in wind, I played 11 rings. We're coming in very nicely. Can we get it in the hole? We're getting it. Oh, we're getting it very close. And that was basically what we did. Adjust with the blue ring inside the rough there on the left. Hole number 3, Berserker ball. You pick the driver that gives you the most distance and topspin. If you do have like a, say, an extra mile level 8 or something like that, or like a Thor Hammer 5 or so, I would actually consider playing with a snow globe here or with a ghost ball or something like that to try to gain as much distance as possible on the fairway. this drive is a little bit short, but it's still going to be enough for us to be able to get the ball to the green, and that's the only thing we're focused on here. The albatross attempt on this one is, I would say, is gone already from the beginning, because this is a super tough hole, and if you can gain an eagle here, it's definitely going to be giving you a little bit of an advantage over other players, as the majority of the players here is not going to get the eagle here. And you know, if you do not have a berserker ball or you do not have a globe, then you will have to play on the left, because you will not be able to reach for the green 2. That's just not gonna happen. So here you can see 15.3 in wind, and I will have to stretch up a little bit. Max side spin, which is 4.5 bar with a berserker, and I'm going to go this one with, in the end, I'm going to play with 5 bars of backspin. 5.5 will work as well, but 5 bars of backspin is better in my opinion, as I would rather go long than I do want to go short. I stretch out and then I adjust from overpowered position. And the thing that I'm looking for here with my adjustment is that I need to over adjust my shot with 5%, only 5, to get it to where I want to. I adjust down into from overpower position to notice that I don't need to use any overpower for this shot. Slight amount of curl to the right, and then we're gonna bounce on the fairway, coming up here on the green, and it's gonna fall down towards the fringe, and we're gonna give ourselves a very nice and easy eagle wedge. Hole number 4. Here is time for going for a rough bump, and I'm going to first and foremost go and play with a kingmaker here. I do want distance, and a kingmaker is perfect here. And of course, if you do have any other power 3 ball that gives you wind resistance, like a Centurion once again, then that is a ball that you can play with here. And also, you know, a power 4 ball will work beautifully here also. But I'm sticking with a kingmaker to show that it's possible, first and foremost. And but we do need to go with max overpower, and that goes for every type of ball. Max overpower, max topspin, as much side spin to the right as possible, with a tiny bit of curl to the right, to just give ourselves that little extra kick into the right and compensate for a great left. Now we do end up and having 380 or 381 yards for being exact. And that's going to give us a rough bump in maximum distance with our Cataclysm. And for those of you that might haven't played this hole now in the 9-hole cup, going to notice that the rough bump there by the green is going to be more flat than it has been before. Like when we had this hole before this tournament, the rough bump there has always been very, very bumpy, and that has been like not bumpy, it has been like as an uphill slope or something, which has been very hard to get any consistency for that rough bump whatsoever. But now we do have that consistency, which is a perfect way to play this hole. And I know there's going to be players playing with the Guardian here as well, going directly for the pin, but I do believe that the rough bump here is going to be the best. So I'm playing with the Cat 7, and when I'm making this adjustment here, I'm trying to get the side spin to the right here, to put myself a little bit there. I'm using a lot of side spin, which is a little bit too much in my opinion. I would like to maybe play with 3-4 bars tops and no backspin. We do want the ball guideline to go through the hole even more than it shows now. And with that, I mean that we do need to compensate for the headwind. When dropping down into the rough, we're gonna go short with using backspins. We do want to use half a bar of topspin, 3 or 4 bars of side spin to the right. Aim should be through the hole with the ball guideline, approximately 1 square like before the fringe there on the back of the green, to make it possible to get it to drop in the hole. So that's something to definitely have in mind. Now, hole number 5, par 3. Here I'm going to play on the left side. I know there is definitely a play on the right side as well, and I do believe that the right side could be a better way to play, because it takes away the risk of going into the water or into the rough. But I would like to show you that the left side is open as well. And for those of you that might not have that much backspin, you maybe have a 4.5 bar backspin like for an extra mile or something like that, then the left side is going to be the better way in my opinion, as you're otherwise gonna risk coming in way too hot on the right. So we are going to, playing on the left, I'm over adjusting 20% for this drive with the maximum numbers. Max side spin to the right, and going with 5 bars backspin. We're gonna fall up there, we're gonna come in, and gonna be kind of close, not super close, but kind of close. The only thing to do there is to go with a little bit more backspin, so we get the ball to stop a little bit sooner and fall down quicker. If we're gonna play on the right side, I would say going with max backspin on your club, which hopefully is going to be around the 6 bars or 7 bars of backspin, as much side spin as you possibly can with the blue ring to the left by the rough. Then you're gonna adjust for minimum numbers of your club, and you're going to go with approximately 1 ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the left. So even though I'm not showing you that in the video, I hope you can note it down and replicate that if you do want to play on the right. If you do want to play on the left, this is the way that I want you to play. And, you know, make sure that you're not hitting a massive great shot, you know, so you go into the water. Hole number 6. And here there is a slice shot, and that slice shot is something that I'm most likely going to go for going forward. And the reason I'm not showing that one here is because when I created this playthrough, it was not in my ID, not my thought in here. So the thing that I'm doing here is that I'm using Kingmaker, trying to bounce on the pad there on the right, which I do like to do, you know. But the thing that I would like you to do there instead is to use a berserker ball. Then you can bounce on that pad, roll out, giving yourself a short iron towards the pin. But in my opinion, the better way to do it is going to be with a slice, using a berserker or a snow globe. But here is a way that you can actually manage to do a decent shot even though you have a Kingmaker. Because the thing that happens here, and now we go into the rough, is that we're still going to be able to reach. It's going to still be a safe and secure eagle, but I do believe that when we're playing master, we're going to want to have that opportunity for the albatross. And going on the right side, going to sometimes make the ball stop in the rough, sometimes we're going to roll out, so it's going to be a very inconsistent way to play. The slice shot is something that I'm going to show you in a video, most likely coming up after this playthrough is made, and that is to lay up for going with a short iron to the pin in a pretty decent way. It's going to most likely be for an apocalypse there. So have that in mind, but if you do want to get a safe eagle already on day 1 in the qualifier, you don't want to wait for that second video of this hole, then you take your play up there, you choose a berserker ball, giving yourself max distance numbers with a 10% over adjustment, and you bounce on the pad, rolling out, giving yourself hopefully a shot with your short iron. Worst case scenario is going to be rough iron towards the pin, or I would say like this, a rough iron towards the green, because making this rough iron is going to be very tough, as we do need to bounce very close to the rough there at the bottom, and also having like an extended ball guideline here. So you're gonna see me fly way far because I under adjust this one massively. But you can see once again, we're gonna bounce here, we're gonna actually go off onto the fringe, and that wedge is a wedge that I will never miss. Hole number 7, here we're gonna go for green, guys. Here we're gonna go for green. You do want to have a globe, and that is the one that you do want to play with. 15.4 is going to be a little bit too low, but you know, we do want to play on that pad on the right, bouncing over to the rough to roll up onto the fairway, or just to stay in the rough and have a rough iron shot for the pin. This is, in my opinion, is going to be a must eagle if you're gonna win in this tournament. 18.1 is actually a perfect win. I would like to say 18 to 19 is going to be perfect, and you can actually reach green if you're lucky. We do need more curl than I'm using here. I'm just using like a smidge of curl to the right, but to be able to bounce there by the green, we do need to give it more. With an Apoc 6, we do have a little bit too little of topspin, so we're getting it very close there to drop into the water, but no problem there. We reach over, have a very short shot for the pin. If you do not have any globes, then you shouldn't play. And even with a berserker, you should not play. Then you play straight forward, down the middle, leaving yourself up for a shot like this, like your opponent is having. My opponent is having here. So If you do have a globe, we go for it. If you don't, then you don't, because you do need the wind. Also have in mind, let's say you have an Apoc 5, Apoc 6, and you have a 60 mph wind. You need to play it more straight over. You cannot go for the pin or like the green, because it's too much distance and you won't be reaching over. So if you do have a club that do have like a 5, 6, 7 bars of topspin as maximum and not having like an Apoc 7, then you need to have wind that is at least a 70 mph for trying to get it over. Now I miss, like I miss here, but it's definitely a possibility. Pack the Nirvana, you can see the ball guideline, use the backspin, bounce on the fairway before the green, so you do have a complete ball guideline to follow. 19 in wind, even though it's a 19, it's not going to be that strong, as we're playing it massively uphill and the ball is going to be very little affected by the wind here. So just slightly outside the cup there to the right, and then go for it, even though that the wind is crazy strong. I miss it left? Yes, I do. I'm gonna roll to the left side of the pin. Yeah, hole number 8. And hole number 8, I'm going to play on the left side. And with saying on the left side is where the side that our opponent is playing now. I've been vouching for and talking a lot about going directly to the pin, like to the green. But this wind that we're having, even though we're using a power 3 ball, or in some cases even a power 4 ball, we're gonna be not in between clubs, but we're gonna get into overpower, and we then have to overpower. And that's not something that we do want to do ever. So we are going to play before using a curl shot towards the pin, which is going to be possible to get in the hole, but it's going to be very hard to do so, because to get the same type of shot there with using curl is super tough. So playing with a kingmaker is something I would do. I would play with a quarterback or with the rock. The rock gives you a couple of more extra yards. Now I'm playing with a centurion, which is a power 3 ball, side spin 3, wind, and wind 4. So I'm using a little bit too much side spin. I would love to play with 6 or 7 bar side spin instead, with 2.5 bar backspin. That would be my reference. Then I'm gonna adjust 1-to-1, which is 10 rings for 10.1 for 10.1. Because now I'm adjusting like 12 or something like that, and that's going to make me coming in a pretty weird way, and I'm not gonna really be that close when it comes to this shot here. Going with curl as well, we do want to have approximately 75% of the ball outside the adjustment ring to the right, to be able to get that ball over there. Oh my god, this green oh my god. Hole number 9, last hole here of this playthrough. We're gonna have headwind for all the shots here. So headwind shot 1, headwind shot 2, headwind shot 3, and it's gonna be super tough. But we're gonna lay up and we're gonna have a rough bump for the eagle with either a wood club or with a long iron. So the thing that I'm going to do here is that I'm going to play with a power 3 ball or even a power 4 ball. A power 4 ball could be good, especially if you're not having a Apocalypse level 7. It will give you a little bit better distance for the first shot. Make sure that you're not driving yourself into the rough, because then the rough bump opportunity for an eagle in the end is gonna be super tough to get. So max topspin with a kingmaker, as much side spin to the left as possible. I'm gonna line up there and adjust it up into max distance, and then go with overpower in the end. So you can see here 5 rings, and then we do have 8.5. And the rings that we're using here is for a 10% over adjustment. But here we do need to go with a little bit more overpower, so we're not getting we're getting a little bit more yards, and give ourselves the second shot a little bit easier. Hole number no. Oh my god, hole number what? The second shot here, our opponent's having a big dog, I'm using a cataclysm, and we're both gonna, or at least I'm going to go for the way to the right side of the bunker. because that is going to give myself a straight headwind shot with the rough bump towards the pin. And when having a very strong wind, it's always easier to play when it's a straight tailwind or a straight headwind, because then we can be a little bit under adjusted, we can be a little bit over adjusted and still hit the pin and fall in and have a little bit luck by in that way. If we have a crosswind, we need to be dead on or like spot on or whatever. So now we're just gonna lay up. I'm going to use the topspin I'm having, and have in mind that this shot is absolutely possible to do with a sniper as well. You just need a little bit of overpower if you do not want to play with a cat. It all comes down to how much distance you will get with your drive. So I'm gonna aim there before the rough, adjusting for maximum distance of my club with no over or under adjustment. 9 rings. And then I'm going to go with some curl to the right, approximately 1 ball of curl, to just make sure that I'm staying away from the sand. I hit great right, no! But, you know, we do have margin, we do a lot of margin there. Rolling it there in front, now we're going to have a rough bump with straight headwind. Our opponent here is going to have a very tough shot with a Spitfire level 2. I would say it's not going to be impossible, but I would say this is impossible to reach. And the only thing to do there is to try to lay up so you do have a straight headwind towards the pin. Even though you might going to have a little bit longer shot if you lay up with straight headwind before the rough on the left. But it's going to be way better than having like a crosswind, headwind. And of course with a hook shot, it's gonna, yeah. So I would rather take a straight headwind shot than having like a wedge from this distance with more of a crosswind-ish type of wind. So now I'm going to play with my Goliath, and I'm going to play for the rough bump here. We're going to be in approximately medium distance of our club here. And I'm going to use around 6 bars of topspin. I would say 5.5. I'm using 6 here, but 5.5 would be the golden number. Having the red ring just by the top there of the rough with the ball guideline through the hole. Through the hole approximately 1.5 to 2 squares. Otherwise we're going to go short due to once again that we're having headwind and we're going to then stop short. Adjust for medium numbers, which is going to be 5.2 approximately. Hit that ball perfect. And you're gonna see we're gonna come in pretty nicely and just miss that one to the left. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was the playthrough for Master Division in the Southern Pines 9-hole cup. If you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video and content, take your time, hit thumbs up before you go. Video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the 9-hole cup.